Are you tired of feeling sluggish and low on energy throughout the day? In this video, we'll delve into the ancient wisdom of Buddhism to discover the key to unlocking boundless energy and vitality in your everyday life. Process 1. Shift your identity first, not your routine. To be active all day, the mind must transform before the body. The way you see yourself shapes your actions. If you believe you are someone who moves with energy and purpose, your body will follow. Buddhism teaches that identity is not fixed. It is fluid, shaped by thoughts, habits, and perception. If you see yourself as someone who is tired, sluggish, or inactive, you reinforce that identity. If you see yourself as someone who is active, engaged, and full of energy, your actions will naturally align with that vision. In Buddhism, the concept of anatta, or non-self, reminds us that our identity is not permanent. It changes with our thoughts and choices. If you feel inactive, it is not because you are naturally lazy. It is because your mind has accepted inactivity as part of your identity. The first step to becoming active all day is shifting how you see yourself. This change does not come through external force but through inner transformation. The practice of mindfulness helps in reshaping identity. When you are mindful of your actions, you recognize the small choices that shape your life. You begin to see when you choose to sit instead of stand, rest instead of move, or hesitate instead of act. Awareness is the foundation of transformation. By observing yourself without judgment, you create space to change. Mantras can also reinforce a new identity. Repeating affirmations like "I am active and full of energy" plants new seeds in the mind. Over time, these thoughts grow into beliefs, and beliefs shape reality. The Buddha taught that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Living an active life starts from within. You must see yourself as a person who moves, who engages with life fully. With this shift in identity, actions will naturally follow. The routine changes not through struggle but through alignment with a new self-perception. This is the path of effortless transformation, guided by Buddhist wisdom. Process 2. Stop sitting when your mind feels stuck. The mind and body are deeply connected. When the mind feels stuck, the body often mirrors that state by becoming still. Buddhism teaches that movement can free the mind from its struggles. Sitting for long periods can trap the mind in cycles of overthinking, worry, or exhaustion. But when the body moves, energy flows, and the mind opens. The Buddha often walked in meditation. He understood that stillness is not just about the body, it is about awareness. Walking mindfully brings clarity. The simple act of standing up and moving can dissolve mental resistance. When the mind feels heavy, walking outside or stretching can shift its state. Movement does not have to be extreme. It can be gentle and mindful. Walking, stretching, or simple breathing exercises create energy and refresh the mind. The key is to recognize when the mind feels blocked and take action. Many people try to think their way out of feeling stuck, but often, the best solution is movement. A stagnant mind leads to a stagnant body, and vice versa. Buddhist monks live active lives, not just through meditation but through daily work, walking, and mindful movement. This balance keeps their energy flowing. Modern life encourages long periods of sitting, but this is unnatural. The body was made to move, and movement helps free the mind. Being active all day means listening to the body's signals. When thoughts become unclear or emotions feel heavy, movement can bring relief. A short walk, a deep breath, or a stretch can reset the mind. This simple practice aligns with Buddhist teachings of awareness and balance. Moving when the mind feels stuck restores clarity and energy, allowing the day to flow with ease. Process 3. Build a movement trigger around your daily habits. The mind thrives on patterns. Habits form through repetition, and the easiest way to stay active all day is to link movement with existing habits. This is a key principle in Buddhism. Everything arises from causes and conditions. When you attach movement to your daily routines, staying active becomes natural. A movement trigger means connecting an action you already do with a small movement. For example, Every time you stand up from a chair, you stretch. Every time you take a phone call, you walk. Every time you brush your teeth, you do a short balance exercise. These small moments of movement add up throughout the day. In Buddhist practice, rituals are important. They remind the mind to stay present. Bowing before meditation, walking after meals, or offering food with both hands are simple movements that carry deep meaning. These physical actions train the mind to associate movement with mindfulness. The same approach can be used to stay active in daily life. The more movement is tied to habits, the easier it becomes. Instead of forcing yourself to exercise, you create an environment where movement happens naturally. This is the Buddhist way, flowing with reality instead of resisting it. The path to being active all day is not through struggle but through mindful integration. When movement becomes part of routine habits, energy flows freely. The body and mind align with a natural rhythm. This method does not rely on motivation, which is temporary, but on structure, which is lasting. Creating movement triggers helps build an active life effortlessly, supported by Buddhist wisdom on habit and mindfulness. Process 4. Consume movement along with your content. Modern life is filled with content. People spend hours reading, watching, and listening. But most of this happens while sitting still. This creates a habit where learning and entertainment become linked with inactivity. A simple way to stay active all day is to consume content while moving. The Buddha taught that wisdom must be lived, not just learned. Knowledge without action is incomplete. When listening to spiritual talks, reading teachings, or reflecting on insights, movement can enhance understanding. Walking while listening to an audiobook, stretching while watching a video, or practicing deep breathing while reading transforms passive learning into an active experience. Movement deepens concentration. The body stays engaged, and the mind remains alert. Buddhist monks walk while reciting teachings, reinforcing wisdom through movement. This practice prevents the mind from becoming dull and makes learning more immersive. Instead of sitting for long hours consuming content, integrating movement keeps the body alive and the mind sharp. This is a simple yet powerful way to align daily learning with an active life. By pairing movement with content consumption, energy stays high, and knowledge is absorbed more deeply. Process 5. Treat your energy like a battery, not a fuel tank. Many people see energy as something that runs out, like fuel in a car. This mindset leads to exhaustion and inactivity. But energy is not fuel, it is a battery that recharges through movement. In Buddhism, energy is one of the 5 spiritual faculties. It is not something to use up but something to cultivate. The body gains energy through action. The more you move, the more energy you create. Sitting for long periods drains energy, while movement replenishes it. Buddhist monks do not stay still all day. They balance sitting meditation with walking meditation, work, and mindful activity. This keeps their energy flowing naturally. Instead of thinking of energy as something that depletes, think of it as something that grows. Each step, each stretch, and each breath adds to your reserves. The more you move, the more alive you feel. The less you move, the more tired you become. Energy is a cycle, not a limited resource. By treating energy like a battery, you shift from a mindset of exhaustion to one of renewal. This simple change in perspective transforms how the body feels throughout the day. Movement becomes a source of power, not something that drains you. This is the path to staying active all day, guided by Buddhist wisdom on energy and vitality. Process 6. Train your mind to crave movement, not rest. The mind is trainable. It adapts to what you give it. If you constantly seek rest, the mind will crave stillness. If you seek movement, the mind will desire action. Buddhism teaches that habits are formed by repetition. The more you engage in an activity, the more the mind is drawn to it. To stay active all day, the mind must associate movement with pleasure. Instead of seeing activity as effort, it should be seen as refreshing. This is a shift in perception, a key teaching in Buddhism. The mind does not resist what it enjoys. By making movement enjoyable, the habit becomes effortless. This can be done through mindfulness. When moving, bring awareness to the feeling of the body. Notice how stretching feels good, how walking brings clarity, and how deep breathing refreshes the mind. The more these sensations are appreciated, the more the mind will seek them. Over time, the mind begins to crave movement. It seeks activity instead of inactivity. This is how monks sustain their energy throughout the day. Their bodies and minds are trained to find joy in movement. This is not a struggle but a natural result of practice. By shifting perception, movement becomes a desire, not a chore. The body moves effortlessly, and energy flows naturally. This is the key to staying active all day, aligned with Buddhist wisdom on mindfulness and habit formation.